Good morning, my reader friends. My name is Erin Rogoff, and welcome back to my BookTube channel, where today I am going to be discussing my top 5 go-to book recommendations right now, starting with Dead Lake by Darcy Coates. Dead Lake is a horror fiction mystery novel, and it focuses on a young artist who has finally caught the eye of an art exhibition, a favor of sorts of a friend from a friend. She needs to make several more paintings, so she goes to her family's cabin out in the middle of nowhere to make these paintings, so there's a no distractions concept going on here. And she doesn't expect to be stalked by a strange man who has a homicidal past or encounter ghosts of his victims. This book was the first book that I read in 2021, and I absolutely loved it. I will recommend it to anyone who likes the cliche alone in the middle of nowhere storyline with a unique twist. My rating of the book, 5 out of 5 stars, hands down. The next book that I would like to recommend to you is Vines by Blake Crouch. It is a sci-fi dystopian novel, and it's about this government agent from the US. His name is Ethan Burke, and he is given a mission to go find his former partner, a woman who he once had an affair with. Ethan searches for her in the small town of Wayward Pines and comes across some not too friendly people. A cop with a chip on his shoulder, a bloodthirsty nurse, and an odd psychiatrist, along with a woman who knows a secret that Ethan is blind to. What is the secret? When the secrets of Wayward Pines are finally revealed to Ethan, spoiler alert here, he finds out that Wayward Pines is literally the last town on Earth. The psychiatrist, who is actually a mad genius, chose a group of people to undergo forced sleep and woke them up a few thousand years into the future, where he placed them in a town surrounded by an impassable fortress so the human mutants of the future don't attack, hunt, or kill them. With the world as Ethan knew it now gone, what will he do in the town of Wayward Pines? As far as footnotes go, the first season of the TV show adaptation of Wayward Pines was so worth watching, but it goes downhill after the finale episode, so it's not exactly your sci-fi happily ever after. I devoured the book in 3 days, and by the time I was reaching the end of the book, it was way past midnight, and I was just walking around my room to keep my eyes open to finish reading the book. I did, and it was worth it. What was my rating for the book? 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I would highly recommend to you is 10 After Closing by Jessica Bayless. This is a young adult fiction thriller novel, and it is so worth the read. In the book, Scott breaks up with his girlfriend in the basement of Cafe Flores, the coffee house where he works. He is taking as many shifts as he can to support his family, but his girlfriend is tired of it now. How? Scott is such a responsible young man. Winnie is then abandoned at Cafe Flores by her friend after she up and leaves home because her parents want her to be a doctor and an EMT, not a starving artist. They do not believe that being an artist is a real job. Tell that to Vincent van Gogh and Georgia O'Keeffe, you controlling idiots. 10 minutes after closing, Scott and Winnie are stuck in Cafe Flores amid a robbery, and no, the robbery isn't for coffee, so where is the logic in that? Also, will Scott and Winnie and their friends survive until dawn? The robbery is a mess up from the get-go. One of the robbers can be easily identified because he is the loser brother of the owner. Another one of the robbers is a meth addict and sees things that aren't there. And they're going after something besides the coffee. I do not condone theft of any sort, but if I was going to rob a coffee shop, I would be going for the unlimited coffee supply and not the money. Also, this book kept me on the edge of my seat. I could not put it down. It was that good. My rating, 5 out of 5 stars. Another book that I would highly recommend to you is Quarantine the Loners by Lex Thomas. This is a young adult fiction sci-fi novel, and it is another dystopian novel. It is about brothers David and Will who go back to high school after summer vacation, but they don't expect an explosion to go off in the science wing of their school. The blast of the explosion infects the teenagers and makes them deadly to adults, and it grows out of your system after you reach your late teens. The teens lose their hair, which grows back white, and then based on the teens' social circles, they dye their hair a certain color. Yellow hair is for varsity and the cheerleader type, and red is for the sluts. The book's words, not mine. Blue is for the nerds, black is for the skaters and the goths, etc., and white is for the loners. The school is now under military quarantine, and a computer is brought into the school by suited-up government officials. And the computer says it will test the teens' blood to see if they are positive or negative for the virus. If you're positive for the virus, you stay inside the school. If you're negative, you're free to leave the school. After new character Lucy is nearly attacked by one of the varsity, David saves her, and she enters the duo as a trio now of David and Will and Lucy. There is a love triangle going on between the three of them, which I do think is a little weird, and the loners want David to be their leader, so what will he do? What will happen to all three of them, especially if one of them grows out of the virus and the others don't? My mom got me the entire series last Christmas in 2020, so in the following days, I was on the sofa with a book in one hand and a cup of coffee or peppermint mocha in the other, just reading. And that was me celebrating Christmas spirit, reading a sci-fi book about death and destruction and dystopian matters, along with some peppermint mocha. This book, I rated 5 out of 5 stars, and I think to myself, seriously guys, this book is so addictive. And to talk about one of my favorite classic go-to book recommendations, we have 6 Months Later by Natalie D. Richards. This is a young adult fiction romance mystery, and I love it. It was one of my favorite books a few years ago, and I reread this every so often, probably a little less than I should, but I want to get around to reading this again and again and again. And in the book, Chloe is your average high school girl. Her grades are okay, she isn't popular, but she has a close best friend. Chloe's best friend is a girl with a lisp, but the way I saw her and heard her in my head, she was adorable, and I love her as a character. She's the type of friend who is there for you even if you messed up. However, there is a limit to that, which is why Chloe and she don't exactly talk after this thing happens. Chloe falls asleep in the middle of class and then wakes up 6 months later and everything has changed. Chloe's a straight-A student. Chloe's best friend won't talk to her anymore. Chloe's boyfriend is Blake, the hottest guy in school, and Chloe can't remember anything about the past 6 months. Why? Chloe is determined to find out where her memory went after all this time, and she doesn't care if it means she'll lose Blake or the friends that she has now. Amid all this happening, Chloe starts to fall for the school criminal who was arrested for stealing medicine for his grandma, the only family he has left. His sob story is genuine, and you can't help but fall for him a little bit too. And Chloe is also on a mission to get her bestie back. When Chloe is faced with a decision to make, get back her lost memories and friends, or live with the glamorous life that she has always wanted and has now, what will she do? This book is the type of book that you should read with a cup of tea in your hand, like I did when reading this book. And I won't spoil this for you, but tea plays a very important and unsaid part in this book. After I read this book and raved about it to my mom, she wanted to read it too. And while I reread this book now, I think how much my best friend would love this book. Michaela, if you are watching this video, I highly recommend you read this book because you will love it. My rating for the book, 5 out of 5 stars. Anyway, that is all for today, so if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button to show some support, subscribe to my BookTube channel to get more videos like this, turn on those notifications to be notified when I have a brand new video uploaded. Keep on reading and have a great day, everyone!